Okay, so this phone just launched in China. It's one of the cheapest Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 phones out there, and the rest of the specs are also crazy good for the price. I'll tell you everything about this phone along with my suggestions on how Xiaomi can actually bring this to India. So yeah, watch till the end, hit the like button, and let's get started. Alright, so this is the Redmi K80. The base variant of this phone with 12GB RAM and 256GB UFS 4.0 storage launched at 2499 Yuan, which is roughly 30,000 Indian rupees. Now that is an amazing price for what this phone offers. Let's get into the details now. First of all, it's a sleek phone that has an understated look just like the Xiaomi CV. The frame is aluminium and the back is glass with this dual tone design, which some might like. But this camera module feels tiny, especially if you're coming from Vivo X200 Pro. And although it weighs 206 grams, the in-hand feel is so good that it just feels very lightweight. You get all the ports and buttons along with an IR blaster in the camera module, and the phone is also IP68 rated, which is really good. Now the display is where things get very interesting. It's a nice and sharp 12-bit AMOLED panel with 120Hz refresh rate and 3200 nits of peak brightness. Now you must be thinking, what is so special about this display? It's not even an LTPO panel. Well, it's not, but what makes this display special is the resolution. Yes, it's a 2K display, and it's probably the first time we are seeing a 2K panel in this price segment, which is really awesome. This is great for people who watch a lot of movies and shows on their phone, basically all of us. Other than that, the display gets pretty bright outdoors, the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner works even with wet fingers, and there's Gorilla Glass 7 eye protection on the front. The bezels are not the slimmest or symmetrical, but you can hide them with a dark wallpaper, just like brands do in their ads. The movie watching experience is also top notch with Dolby Vision and HDR10 Plus support, and the Dolby Atmos powered stereo speakers are also very loud and crisp. The sound separation is not exactly 50-50, but it's still good enough. Overall, the display definitely stands out in this segment, especially with the 2K resolution and ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which you don't find in any other phone in this price bracket. Now, as you already know, this phone is powered by Snapdragon's last year's flagship processor, and the performance is really good. We ran all the benchmarks just to be sure, and the numbers are matching up with the usual 8 Gen 3 scores, be it in Antutu, Geekbench CPU, and even Geekbench GPU. We also ran CPU throttling twice, and these are the results. In all of these tests, the temperatures didn't cross 41 degrees, which is good. Now, when I compared the performance of this phone with other phones like the Realme GT60 with 7 Plus Gen 3 and Poco F6 with 8s Gen 3, this phone easily comes on top. Xiaomi has also implemented 5400mm² ice loop cooling technology, which keeps the phone cool even in demanding situations. I hope Xiaomi brings this cooling tech to all of their phones, especially the Poco phones. In gaming also, this phone performs as it should, and it doesn't get warm as well, but I still can't get the kills. These are the gameplay settings for all the games that we tested, and we played each one for at least 30 minutes, and the phone did not cross 40 degrees at all. See, this phone is running on Snapdragon's last year's most powerful processor, so the performance was never going to be an issue. Plus, it's wise to get an 8 Gen 3 phone over 8 Elite because it'll cost a lot less and you'll not miss out on anything. Really. Let's talk about the next big highlight, the battery. Yes, this phone packs a massive 6550 mAh battery that can easily last you more than a day even with heavy usage, and with the 90-watt charger, you can charge your phone fully in just half an hour, which is just awesome. Now the coolest thing is that even with this massive battery, the phone is so sleek, which is good. I think silicon carbon batteries trend is the best thing that has happened to smartphones this year. I hope this catches on to smartwatches as well. By the way, this phone is running on HyperOS 2.0, which is quite feature-rich and has some cool animations as well. We have already made a video on it, so you can check it out from the link in the video description. Redmi K80 is pretty sorted on connectivity front too, with 14 5G bands, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, NFC and Type-C USB 2.0 port. But the cameras are just average. You get a 50 megapixel main camera with OIS, 8 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and a 20 megapixel selfie shooter. Main camera does give you good shots in ample light, but the ultra-wide camera is not usable in most scenarios. The front camera captures the colors well, but the details are missing. So overall, Redmi K80 is a solid phone for people who are looking for the best performance from their phone at the best possible price. Indians. Now, there's a lot of chatter on internet that this phone will come to India as Poco F7, which I think might not happen because Poco is usually the rebrand of Redmi Turbo series. Like Poco F6 was the rebranded Turbo 3, the Poco F5 is the rebranded version of the Redmi Note 12 Turbo. You get the idea, right? Now, since this phone is so good for the price, the only possibility of this phone coming to India is Xiaomi bringing back the K series in India. If you remember K20 and the K20 Pro, they were very successful back in the day. So yeah, I really want Xiaomi Xiaomi to launch this phone in India, because this could very well be the next Note series. I really hope that happens, because you know what?
Hope is a good thing.
Hope is a dangerous thing.